28 degrees and clear into a high today of only 66.
Warmer than it was yesterday. Yesterday was only 50 something.
Let's start this show. What do we care?
We got 30 seconds. We'll go right after this. Because I gotta get my new intro for the. Ready?
Yep.
The Wade and Carter Show is a paid program, and KHMC Magic 95 assumes no responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears no responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
It's Giving Tuesday, a 3-star general calls for martial law. Cyber Monday, we'll break it all down, all that and more coming up on today's Wade and Carter Show.
You can't go wrong with some Dean Martin.
Oh. Hey, good morning.
Good morning to you.
December 1st,
Kind of
Christmas music officially can be played without any regrets or guilt.
makes you want to have a cocktail, doesn't it?
Kind of does.
Little Dean Martin. You know, it's a sad thing about
I used to do a Dean Martin impersonation.
I'm sure you did.
While you're out with a glass of whiskey.
Stumble.
Kind of, not stumble, swagger a little. I'm Dean Martin.
You know, the word on the street was he really didn't drink that much in real life. That was just, he was kind of like Foster Brooks.
No, he didn't drink any more, but he didn't drink any less either.
Apparently that was, part of his shtick.
Well, when you spent so many of your formative years actually hammered, and that became the expectation, then you had to do that. Let's do this. Oh. Ah. I thought I turned that off.
We bought the whole song. We bought the whole song, folks. We can play it the whole 3 minutes. The Wade and Carter weather replete with freeze warning.
Frost on the pumpkin.
Yes, 28 degrees in Victoria. Thank you, Deerland Feed. Ash went by yesterday, got some no-touch hay. In fact, Lacey wasn't there when he went by, and she made certain she wasn't going to be in contact with Ash. But he got some hay for his cows.
Hey,
you can get anything you want to. He drives by. He's a gentleman rancher. He just goes, hey. They go, how much you want?
All your ag stuff, all your pet supplies. They've got everything you need.
They want you to know that it's 28 and clear in Victoria, heading to a high today of 66. Don't forget your sweater.
No. The winter of 2020.
We will rebuild.
We can rebuild.
We can make it better than it was.
We must rebuild.
The $6 million winner.
There was frost on the pumpkin this morning.
I can't find today's video. It looks like you do the show by yourself if you scroll down Facebook.
I think there it is. No, that's yesterday's.
So where are we?
I don't know. Oh, there it is.
Yeah, there you
scroll down a little bit.
Well, I just didn't scroll enough.
I guess not. Well, now it's saying that the content isn't available at the moment. What the heck's going on here? There it is.
There it is. There we are. We're live. I'm just scrolling there.
There we go.
At least the sound is going through the
video. No, we're good now. So, all right, let's see. Where's all the comments though? This is weird today.
Highly professional organization. There you go. We're good.
Okay. So I'm not seeing any comments. There they are.
Judge Posey, good morning, Judge.
Things are just a little slow. Let's see who's in this morning. First one in, second time through. H.R. Mallory. I think Jeremy Pena was the first one who ran the test flight earlier.
There's Rita Shear. Good morning.
But like the Dreamliner, we didn't crash and burn today.
Right.
Iceman is in. Christina Wise, good morning. Scott Tomko. Jackie Dearland, good morning. C.W. Bean. Wayne Carter.
I just put a comment. Good morning, everybody.
Marvin Mickish is in. Bobby Leister, Dana Moore de la Garza.
McCoosh back in the old country.
Bobby Leister says we're still holding strong at 337.
We're live on YouTube right now, by the way.
Yeah, Matt Boucher. Jeremy Pena says Santa's going to get COVID on the 20th, so no Christmas. LOL. Did you hear Andrew Cuomo, governor of New York, and his Grinch?
He's an embarrassment of a human being. I'm not talking about a politician.
I mean, I listened to it. I didn't see it, but he was almost mocking folks who are going to get together for Christmas.
Yeah.
And then he said,
like, well, you go to church if you want, something like that.
Well, and then he goes, COVID is like the Grinch. And that the Grinch is lurking. And the Grinch is going to ruin Christmas was basically his message. And then his analogy, though, lost steam because he tended to forget that the Christmas spirit and the people of Whoville ended up defeating the Grinch.
And changed his heart.
Yes.
Maybe it'll become a good virus.
Maybe. But he kind of left half the analogy dangling for anybody that knows the story.
Well, it's like you were talking about today. It's not hypocrisy, it's ignorance. That like when the left, they were all pro Anthony Fauci. Anything Fauci said goes, except when Fauci said that voting in public wasn't a danger to the public.
Then the left didn't seem to care about that science
they don't
thing.
agree with the doctor
No, they only cared about the science that they needed to perpetuate the fraud that could happen through mail-in ballots. So
there's one of your special needs relatives checking in. Troy Wallachell.
Brother.
Is he much younger?
Yeah, 2 years roughly.
Dumb. So Troy says, put your masks on. If I've had it and he's had it and we're both negative today, why do we need to wear a mask when we're the only people in this building?
We don't.
There you go. Thanks, Troy.
It's just the way he is.
He's being nice.
Yeah. Just looking out for us.
Hello, Sheriff Louderback. I thought about you yesterday. That was in Jackson County. I had to go to Edner for a junior high basketball game, and you haven't seen anything until what they did in Edna yesterday was they ran the B team games first, 7th and 8th, and then the A team games, 7th and 8th. So Caden's in the 7th grade, happens to be on the A team. So I had to sit through 2 games to watch his game. It wasn't like a 3-for-1 gig. It was like torture.
And you weren't sentenced. There was no community service. There was nothing.
No.
I'm convinced if you really wanted to reduce crime in this country, you would, as part of the sentencing, and we're not talking violent criminals, and probably not people charged with DUIs or DWIs.
Or pedophilia.
That too. Because sitting through that might make you want to drink some more.
Right.
But if you want to stop theft, petty crimes, things like that,
put them in orange jumpsuits and deliver them to
a 7th or 8th grade middle school basketball game. Because you will sit through one and then you will quickly do whatever you have to do as a condition of your sentence before the next game comes up.
It's like a Clockwork Orange. You'll just, whatever it takes, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Good morning, Roy Gutierrez.
Tammy Williams checking in. There's Funky Trey Molina. Good morning to you, Scott Snow, Clint Ives.
Funky, thanks for reaching out while we were on lockdown.
Clint Ives says he can think of several reasons why Brent should wear a mask other than COVID. Dawn
you're right,
was
sweetheart.
parenting. No, it is. I remember those.
It is.
Those games.
But I didn't need to parent the 7th grade B team kids or the 8th grade B team kids. I just needed to parent my kid. We needed to know, although we have friends on every team, and at that, trust me, the difference between a B team kid and an A team kid ain't much.
No.
Ain't much at that level.
No, not till you get to high school. They're kind of they really start to differentiate themselves.
Yeah, you can tell. There's some kids out there. I mean, Edna had a kid there, no exaggeration, on the 8th grade team that was about 6'1".
Oh, jeez.
For real, which makes sense. I mean, I was 6 foot in the 8th grade. But the 7th grade team, you've got that one 7th grader who has, 15-inch calves and hairy legs. Bless his heart. Like, he's embarrassed. He's like growing up, and he's embarrassed out there. Good morning, Byron Burris. Speaking of hairy legs, Byron Burris had hair on his legs. He's about 5. Him and Joe Biden at the pool. Little kids playing with the hair on their legs.
So today's Giving Tuesday. I'll be at Crossroads Bank later today.
What are you giving at Crossroads Bank?
I'm hoping people will come and give to UHV Athletics and support our athletes. So I'll be at Crossroads Bank this afternoon, 2:30 to 5.
So let me see if I got this figured out. You're just going to go to the bank.
Yep.
Kick back a little. Shake a few hands. No, we're not going to shake.
No.
Social distance.
Yep.
And panhandle.
Yes,
you're going to beg for money.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, I'm with you.
Yep.
Are you going to have that cadence? Da-ding, 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 da-ding. Are you going to have
gone away?
Are you going to have a bucket? Are you going to have a bucket?
Yep. I might. That's a good idea. I never thought of that.
What you ought to do is have a cooler and one of those captain's chairs and just sit there and get loaded in the lobby.
You know what's awesome about New York City this time of year? All the Salvation Army kettlebell ringers, they dance, they sing.
It's racist, man. Come on.
I mean, they're all right off Broadway, so that way they can call home and say they've made it. They're almost on Broadway, right? And here you walk into a store, and they're just sitting there, barely ringing the bells.
It's a nice gesture. I've never donned the
get into it.
I've never done that. I'm proud of those folks, but it would peak after about 5 minutes. I'm just like, I'll give you $1 to quit ringing the bell. How long for you to quit ringing the bell?
But that's why in New York City it's so awesome, because they put on a little show and they all can sing and they all have enough rhythm to dance a little bit, and they don't annoy you. Right. And they sing Christmas songs and they're ringing the bell and people are dropping it. I mean, they got a lot of money. I mean, a lot of people there too.
If they can make it there, they can make it anywhere.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, sure.
But I mean, it's a different
vibe
when you see them ringing the bell, and you see them outside of a store here, and they're ringing, they don't say anything to you. They just kind of stand in the corner. I don't know.
T-Line's having a conversation with Missy Klimacek, Dr. Missy Madden Klimacek, about her heart rate. Dawn's heart rate has been high lately. I think it's from listening.
Is she a medical doctor?
To my voice. Well, no, but Missy Klimacek, you're right. She's had enough college to be a medical doctor.
Just saying.
Goodness gracious.
Wrong doctor, Dawn. So Cyber Monday yesterday, trying to see the numbers. I couldn't find much, but did you buy anything? This is one of the few Cyber Mondays I haven't done even a little bit of cyber shopping.
I doubt this was a record-setting Cyber Monday. What I think you're seeing,
$300 for self-emptying Roomba. I mean, some good deals out there. Yeah, looking for that stuff.
I mean, how lazy do you have to be? How lazy do you have to be to decide that I don't want to use a broom anymore, so I'll buy a vacuum? I don't want to be tethered by a cord anymore, so I'll get a robot. I've got a robot at home that I can run with an app off my phone. Now, if you're too lazy to go empty the dang thing, so you have to get a hopper, you have to get a White Trash Services hopper that empties it for you and makes a little bale of garbage. I mean, that's lazy, man. It says on there, holds up to 60 days worth of refuse.
Not in my house.
I'm like, well, yeah, if you're doing a 3x3 closet,
Yeah.
maybe 60 days. But I mean, come on.
10 dogs. That ain't lasting one sweep of the 2-4 ranch.
Brad Miner brings up a good point. Are you saying there's more talent up there in New York, or do they just care more?
Both?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Brad Miner back down in the 4s. He had gotten a little heavy. He's back down. But
they have like uniforms on. I mean, it's not, they look like they might be Salvation Army employees. I don't know.
Could be. Maybe they're getting a cut.
But yeah, I'm trying to see what no, they're saying that Cyber Monday they were predicting it to be the biggest in history. They were saying 4.8 billion.
Now, BJ,
that was just Amazon, what they were saying.
Well, T-Lat scoured the interweb yesterday and said she didn't find anything that she hadn't found at Sam's or Walmart or wherever.
And then isn't this Saturday small business Saturday? Isn't this the day coming up where they ask everybody to come and support small businesses?
So support the small businesses that they're going to put out of business with the lockdown?
Yeah.
We've got to do something. Can't we give them a loan? Let them go to work. Leave them alone. That's how you let them work.
Yeah. And it goes back to what we were talking about coming in this morning. If there's ever a bigger, and it makes me more and more angry at how we've been played.
Here we go.
Thanks for bringing it all together for me.
Here we go. Mr. Rant.
No, but
Mr. Apocalypse. Here he comes. Mr. Apocalypse coming in on his sleigh.
Oh, he's been gone for 2 weeks.
Been saving it up. Anytime I'm talking to Asher, he goes, and another thing. That's
stand back.
That's there's trouble.
But you brought it up this morning, and this kind of ties it all together.
Okay.
We're shutting businesses down. New Mexico's governor says if 4 people could be contact traced through a couple of weeks' time, the business is shutting down.
Right. Well, any business that's got, any Whataburger is shutting down.
Yeah.
Okay. Shutting it down.
So as a result, grocery stores in New Mexico are being shut down. How are you supposed to live? How are you supposed to get your food and the things you need to continue on? Not everybody has a huge fridge and a deep freeze and all that stuff that they can stock up, right?
What about toilet paper?
Off the shelves in Canada again, believe it or not. But if you're living in an apartment, you don't have a huge space to store all that stuff.
You just live in a pantry.
Yeah. So, but again, Fauci goes off and tells everybody that you can vote in person. There's no danger. The left completely ignores it. The media completely ignores it. Fauci has been the media's hero because they don't like Donald Trump. So they found somebody in the administration that they can glorify, deify, and quote verbatim and not twist the words because he's the only one.
Michelle Wilson-Hawkins says the Canadian is wearing short sleeves and the Texan is ready for the slopes. What's funny about that is each of our tolerance for temperature is about the same, actually. Ash has acclimated quite well to being a Texan. He has a coat in here somewhere, I guarantee it.
Back there. But it's not as thick as that vest shirt to mine.
It's kind of a flannel.
Yeah, that is a flannel.
It's nice, right?
Kind of a flannel.
It's nice. I'm a slave to fashion. The things that we do to look good.
Ray Garcia says they want people to live like Grizzly Adams. No, they don't, because they want to take your guns, so you can't even go kill anything anymore.
Yeah, my mother said, what are you going to do when Beto shows up and wants your guns? I said, invite him in and then shoot him.
I didn't invite him in.
You know what's going to happen in Texas? The day that they say that, well, first of all, it's not going to happen. They're not going to try to come get your weapons in the great Lone Star State. But what they will do is they'll find a way to disrupt the ammunition chain. I've got it on good accord from people that know that there's been a shortage of primers. You'll start finding that they'll put a heavy tax on ammo. And then you have all the guns you want. It's just a big paperweight without any bullets.
There's been a shortage of rods. and powder
and patches in
and
Canada,
muskets.
where they use the old Trudeau musket.
Iceman says, just do as Canadians do and get your meat off the highway after hitting it at 70 miles an hour.
It's
Actually,
fresh.
we'd be hitting it at about 110 kilometers per hour.
I've never.
If you're going to make a Canadian analogy, Iceman, you got to go all the way.
But why can't you salvage that meat?
No.
I mean, the reality
makes
is,
no sense.
If
It
you
really
hit
does.
a deer, nobody's going to go hunting with their truck. You know, and if you do, what are the odds of you actually finding a deer to hit? It's when you're not looking for those little rats that they come out in front of you. By the way, everybody that
but you can. I think in some places they can do that and they give it to a food bank.
Now, BJ Nelson just asked, did the new audio equipment arrive yet? Don't we sound spectacular through the board this morning?
I think we did.
I think we
Maybe
did.
she's confirming.
I don't know.
So,
I don't know.
So
BJ, why don't you give us a call?
11.4 billion is what they're expecting that will sell through Cyber Monday, and from Black Friday through yesterday, Amazon said they sold almost $5 billion worth of stuff.
Wow. BJ, let us take this break and then call us at 575-9509. White Trash Services, you need to clean up. You need to get stuff out of your attic. You need to clean up your garage. You need a roll-off dumpster dropped off at your house because you're going to add a patio and you need a place to put all those shingles you take off and where you've got to tie everything in and grandma's old toilet that there's not enough bleach to clean. Reach in there, 550-1826, and let White Trash Services solve your problem. My deal would be estimate the size that you think you're going to need and double it.
Probably so.
Because once you get it there, and once Mama says, "Oh, by the way, we don't need that old chair anymore," and this and that,
we don't need that.
Go. You'll be glad you did that. Allen's Wrecker Service,
578-6300. Small, medium, large, heavy duty. They can handle all of your towing needs, from two wheels. Maybe your Harley's not working. You need to get it somewhere.
But they don't just throw it up on a trailer.
No.
They put it up, ratchet it down, protect it, keep it safe. They don't add to your problems.
No. And they really bring peace of mind when they do it as well.
And they perform as a first responder. They secure the scene. They make sure that if there's been an accident, they're not going to disrupt a bunch of evidence. They're going to make certain that you're safe and that your vehicle gets safely where it needs to go. That's Allen's Wrecker, 578-6300. The VCS companies. Today I want to focus on the AT&T store. They're taking appointments right now at the AT&T store. Give them a call. Make an appointment. I'm going to take this iPad that we bought at the AT&T store and say, hey, this microphone input is not working for me. I have no reservations or fears that they'll either give me a new one, know how to fix it, or send it off and get it back ASAP.
And give you a loaner to drive?
Probably give me a loaner. A new car. The AT&T store right there on Kerr Boulevard, just inside the loop off of Main Street. And then Cheswick Furniture Company, still celebrating 100 years. It's been almost a year.
It's been
100 years in downtown Victoria, 116.
COVID disrupted what might have been the biggest celebration in the history of celebrations.
Go down and check out Cheswick Furniture today. 100 years, 50% off all in-house furniture. They might give you 50% off if you ordered something. You can kind of customize all that stuff.
Yeah, they'll give you 50% off all the furniture.
There you go. 116 West Wine corner of Wine Linden Bridge in beautiful sunny downtown Victoria. Going to be 66 down there today.
Yep.
So, BJ, give us a call, 575-9509. She may say, I just did.
So we got sent a video yesterday by very astute listeners.
Hi, Bob Constantine.
And I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I know you did.
I watched a chunk of it.
And General, pronounce his name for me.
McInerney?
McInerney? Okay. I get him confused with McInerney.
Or McElhinney. Let's see.
That might be our call.
Is that BJ Nelson? No, see,
Good morning, BJ. How are you this
morning? We hear you perfectly. Can you listeners hear Ms. Nelson? Give us like a quick yay or nay. We blocked you. Yeah, we blocked you.
Oh.
Yeah. Why are you on Facebook? What did you put on there? Yeah, because you got to watch them, feed them, keep an eye on them. Yeah. Right.
Famous last words of every parent. Famous last words of every parent.
That's right. Oh, yes.
I didn't think you put up anything. We saw the post. We didn't think you put up anything.
Here's what gets me is you, for those of you that don't know or can't tell by listening in stereotype, BJ Nelson is a white person typing about white trash. But if you were a black kid and wanted to drop the N-word in a hip-hop video, then that's just cool. We'll play that on ABC. Interesting. Very interesting, the hypocrisy.
And it doesn't get pulled down from Facebook either.
No, it's very, see, what gets me is it never crossed my mind.
Wow.
Well, Christina Wise says that I sound like my glands are inflamed. That just sounds nasty to me. That sounds nasty. Well, what it really is, my tonsil gets caught behind my throat back there. I still have my tonsils at 58.
Oh boy, yeah.
I could go in. You never can tell. I might be able to sing if I got rid of the tori on my jaw and the tonsils and pulled my wisdom teeth. I mean, I have a lot more room in there.
And replaced your vocal cords with actual vocal cords at work.
Everybody loves somebody sometime.
So.
Sure.
I didn't watch the Pennsylvania one last week, no.
I saw that.
Yes. Yep.
Well, what it does is it brings credibility. You know the guy. You know he's not up there lying. You know that person's telling the truth. That alone puts him in line for canonization. Just the fact that he was in the court A&M, I mean, he's practically Pope worthy. Right? Well, you're a Baylor girl. Well, we have this video the other day, this McInerney, and I remember his name, and I don't know why. I know he's a big deal. He's a 3-star general. And he said what Americans have not accepted, because they're letting politics get in the way, is that we are at war with China, Iran, Russia, And we are at war with them in a literal cyber war. And that these folks are sabotaging our way of life, whether it be through our elections or through TikTok or through whatever. And that we're kind of sitting back in our lazy apathy, not meaning to be redundant, but in our apathy, we're even lazy in our apathy.
I think you're not being redundant, because there's apathy, there's lazy, and then there's lazy or apathy.
Right.
Yeah. And right now, I think Americans
there's travesties, there's shams, and there's mockeries.
Yeah.
There's a travesty mockery. But here we are at war, and this McInerney said that he believes that the U.S. needs to basically declare martial law. Now, I'm just like, wow. I mean, people, you say that, people go, oh, that's the end of the world. But I mean, this is a military guy that's dead serious that we have major problems and can't get anybody to, James Curtis just said, J.P. Hall can confirm the cyber warfare part. We'll try to get him on.
Well, and the testimony in Arizona yesterday, retired Colonel Phil Waldron, your husband's best friend, testified that 35,000 votes were illegal in Arizona?
$35,000 is a lot.
I think that would swing. That could swing the election there, couldn't it? And I mean, here's the thing with this. And the media is trying to downplay it, but you don't even have to be following this with any serious intent. But to me, it's just a little too coincidental that the 6 swing states that are in play for this election, the 6 states where things were close and the election was hanging in the balance, are the 6 states where all the shenanigans seem to be happening. No, I know. That's what I'm saying. 44 other states managed to get it right? No problems.
What did Bob Ross say?
That we know of, yeah.
It kind of sounds like unknown to Scott. His brother is really Racer X. Remember Speed Racer? Racer? Do you remember Speed Racer? BJ, were you too young for that?
Never really got into Speed Racer.
No, I mean, he's busy revving up the powerful Mach 5.
That was the only good part about Speed Racer, was the theme song.
Right.
To be honest, it was never Japanese.
Dangerous work to do.
So interesting. Yeah.
Well, hey,
appreciate the call. Thanks, BJ.
And thanks for confirming that our
us too. And thank you for the concern when we were away.
Yeah, you were very kind. By the way,
that's a great testimonial. Thank you for that. You have a good day. All right. Thanks, BJ.
Before you go, BJ.
Oh, hold on. Brent's got something for you here.
What was that lady's name? Stacy Smith.
Stephanie, I think.
No. It's Stacy something.
Is it? I don't know. You told me the wrong.
Stacy Smith. So, Lieutenant Colonel retired Alan West available to hang with us Thursday, January 21st. Look at your calendar. See if that works for you. Sure.
Okay.
Good. We can turn that into a little Republican fundraiser. I mean, we might even have some presidential numbers by then. We might even know who the president is. By January 21st, I would think there's a chance.
We might. Good.
All right. Oh, yeah. Dawn's doing really well. She's just tired. Part of that's being married to me.
Well, that's true.
It
is. Drag you along. Do a bit, drag you along.
Yeah.
I feel her pain.
The boys do wear they were. All right.
Thanks, BJ. Bye. Hey, Nelson, appreciate that. That's interesting. We might have to try to work that connection and maybe get the retired colonel on the show and talk a little bit about what's going on.
We can for sure. Today's a great day to make it to Veracruz. Get in, get fed, get out. We under right around $10 a person. It might be 11, but it's worth it. Veracruz today, Veracruz to go, Veracruz for lunch. They're open for dinner. They're doing a great job. Razor IT Solutions, JP Hall and his crew. They'll help you with everything to do with your Facebook and website presence. They'll help you understand your analytics. They'll help you understand what's going on with your website, who's hitting it, who's trying to break in. You remember that when you were a kid, they talked about scared straight. They take the kids to prison and show them how you don't want to live here. JP can take you places on the internet, and I don't mean with Prince Andrew and Harvey Weinstein. I mean,
we'll take it to the dark net.
He can take you places where you'll go, wow, I didn't even know that was here, much less that these people were trying to hack into my website. And then you'll say to yourself, why my website? Well, because you look around and you've got 500 credit cards on file, which gives you responsibility to those patrons. JP can help you avoid getting hacked. And then on a much simpler note, just go to atzenhofer.com, find you a new, used Chevy, Cadillac, Mazda, Mitsubishi, all kinds of pre-owned vehicles.
Great selection of pre-owned
and vehicles. Just buy you a new vehicle. Especially for men, nothing is as much fun. Not that ladies don't love it, but I don't identify as a woman. I can't speak to that. I think we need the excitement of a new vehicle once in a while. And ladies, it's cheaper than getting a new wife. So let him have a new truck. If his mistress is a Chevy Silverado 4-wheel drive with a Z71 package, come on. Truck's got good hips. Let him have it.
He's only going to get stuck in the mud.
There you go. Not stuck anywhere else.
Nope.
There you go. Since 1926, Victoria's dealer.
Jennifer Caslow says she was in Arizona outside the hearings yesterday, and if she heard correctly, Maricopa County, the only county using Dominion voting machines.
And that's the one that had the problems. We talked about it on the way in today. Hello, Uncle Norm. We talked about it on the way in today. It's interesting that nowhere in any state has anybody alleged, well, the Republicans got 200,000 votes right here that they weren't supposed to have. It is interesting that this conspiracy against the highly ethical Democratic Party is only being portrayed by Republicans against Democrats nationwide. And we're supposed to believe that it's not an organized situation. And at the same time, it's impossible that the Democrats could organize to try to rig an election. But it makes perfect sense that the Republicans could organize to try to insinuate that they rigged an election. The hypocrisy of the left is endless. It is their most giving and obvious tale.
Well, imagine the outcry from the left if there were allegations of fraud that gave Donald Trump enough votes to swing electoral votes.
Right.
I mean, it would be they would be going absolutely ballistic.
Yeah.
The mainstream media would be calling for investigations, but they can't do that in this case because they spent 4 years setting things up for mail-in ballots. They spent the last 9 months telling us that you can't go vote, it's unsafe. And we've spent the last 9 months telling people, if you can go to the grocery store, you sure as hell can go vote.
Right. People leave. I mean, the hypocrisy is amazing. Do you think, number one, do you care? And number two, do you have any problem accepting at all the media's account that Joe Biden tripped playing with his dog and hurt his foot? I mean, that doesn't, we joked about him being geriatric, but it could happen. I mean, people are like, sure, that didn't happen. Well, what did happen? Was he shot by a Republican? I mean, why couldn't he just, I think that's unless he got on a ladder, it's one of the most likely things that could happen to the man.
At 78 years old and as frail as he is, I mean, the guy shuffles to the podium every time he goes to walk.
But they always have those photo moments where his tie is over his shoulder, blowing in the wind. Hey, hey, hey. I'm Joe. I'm coming into play. It's just crazy. You know, I think we've just all become, maybe sadly, it's like we've seen behind the curtain. The wizard is a fraud. We've all become more media savvy. And we all, at least most of you, go at least 2 layers deep into here's what they're trying to get me to believe. It's not really about Joe Biden's foot. You know, it's about the bag of Pennsylvania votes that he tripped over in the basement. I mean, you know.
Maybe so. Wendell Gaggle says maybe it's a cover for him having COVID.
It could be they kept him kind of low key. I don't understand, and I don't understand, why does he need to be immune or exempt from? Does it exponentially raise his fragility? I don't understand why. I mean, hey, it seems to me the greatest thing that he could do is get it, beat it, and then say, "I've done it, folks, and this is what we've got to do." Unless he feels like he needs to be some kind of superhero.
I think there's some comorbidities there that we're not being told about. That's why they're running as scared as they are.
Yeah. Well, hey, don't worry. If Joe dies, we've got Kamala. No worry. She'll put AOC in some high cabinet position. We'll be set.
Here's where we have to focus.
Christina Wise says, my hand broke with the dog's leash and a squirrel. Look, Christina, you live in Austin. What goes on in your bedroom, that's your business, okay? You don't have to tell us about that, and this is a family show.
I saw a great video over the weekend that my wife showed me. Some girl was trying to lock the door. She was taking her dog for a walk, and all you see is the hand go out with the key to the lock, and all of a sudden the dog's leash tightens, and she's just gone.
I saw one the other day.
I think that might have been Christina Wise.
You see this guy, and he it's a hallway camera from a hotel, and the door opens. Guy has the food service tray. He walks out, he bends over, sets it down. He's buck naked. And then he goes back to the door and he gives it a couple of the wiggles. And all of a sudden, she just goes, like, I am so done. I'm naked. I'm standing outside my hotel room.
And there's nobody inside to let me.
So what do you do at that point? You know what you do at that point? You're on the road. You dump all the stuff off the tray.
Cover your front part.
Your man bits.
You cover your bits and
you just get on the elevator and go get you a key.
There's nothing else you can do.
I mean, it's just, hey, that is my tush.
And take solace and comfort in the fact that you're in a hotel where nobody knows you.
And you'll never see those people again.
Except on the internet.
Right, forever.
Yeah. A couple other things with the election. A lot of concern in Georgia. A lot of things that just don't make sense with this whole thing and the stories, because we keep hearing from the media, there's no election fraud, but sworn affidavit after sworn affidavit from people who are not allowed to be in the vote certifying process as allowed, kept distance away. Now Georgia, just on the eve of the election, and I don't know if it was the Attorney General or the Secretary of State there, but no wonder they're quickly saying there was no fraud, because they went and changed the rules.
Right.
Where they were discarding the outer envelope. They basically did away with the verification of signatures. And now, and then they threw those envelopes away.
No, exactly.
I mean, they've destroyed any evidence. You had a judge in Georgia basically put a hold on the voter machines, right?
Right.
And the election officials just ignored it. Why aren't they being charged with contempt of court at that point? I mean, this whole thing just doesn't make any sense. If it was any other crime, if it was any other order from a judge, there'd be contempt charges.
Here's my question, and I would love to ask, like, Peter McNally, who's a reasonable guy. If the roles were absolutely reversed, if President Trump was saying, I clearly won, are you kidding me? The people have spoken. I got 80 million votes. And there were these discrepancies where Democratic poll watchers were kept out of Texas polls. weren't allowed to see the votes, kept out of Florida, kept out of Ohio, would the Democrats be freaking out, and would the Democrats be correct to freak out? Or would the Democrats go, well, the people have spoken and let's just move on?
And Peter McNally here, and no knock on Peter, but he says the election's over, accept it, there's more to talk about.
Boy, didn't we say that to Hillary Clinton in 2016, 17, 18?
19, all 20?
Come on, Pete. You know that's the truth.
But the Democrats want that to happen now because they're hiding something.
Yeah, there's no doubt it's
It
corrupt.
just feels, it doesn't pass the smell test.
Like we said, not one voter box anywhere that people say, nowhere that even a Democrat says, whoa, there's something fishy here. Too many Republican votes in that box.
And you've got the 6 states that all matter, all having the same problems.
There was
and the counties that matter having the same problems. That just doesn't make any sense.
There was a state, and it may have been Pennsylvania. I don't want to put that on the Pennsylvanians.
Put it on them.
It showed that at the end of the deal, like Biden had 51% almost, and Trump had like 49% and a little bit. And they had a blip of like 600,000 votes come in. And 3,200 of them were for Trump. And this guy that goes, look, you don't have to be a mathematician. I happen to be one. But in a state where the vote is basically 50-50, the likelihood of 600,000 votes coming in and 597,800 of them being for Joe Biden is so impossibly small that he goes, it ought to raise a flag, period. It's just impossible that out of 600,000 people, only 3,200. Now, I could see out of 600,000 people if 400,000 voted for Biden and 200 for Trump. I could.
Yeah, that seems to make sense.
But not 3,200. Come on, man. You don't believe that garbage.
And what did I hear yesterday? I think it's, again, in Georgia, 40-some-odd thousand mail-in ballots sent out, and they can only account for like 20% of them. There's like 30,000 mail-in ballots that are just, nobody knows where they are.
Right.
U.S. Postal Service says they did nothing wrong. But there's 30,000 mail-in ballots that nobody knows. I mean, where'd they go? Did everybody just chuck them? I doubt it.
Well, what people have to realize is that if this election is over and Peter says, talk about delusional listeners. Now, come on, Pete, you know better than that. If you're in a room with me and the group around us is fairly educated and 8 of them disagree with you, you might want to think about your position. I mean, just be objective. The likelihood that all these folks are somehow brainwashed, ignorant, or confused. And I'm asking you to put the shoe on the other foot.
And we're a month past the election. And even before COVID, we were kind of waiting. We didn't jump into the conspiracy theories, but you've got 6 states where there's a lot of questions.
Here's Torrin Bale says, they panicked when it looked like Trump was winning big. They shut it down and then dumped in votes like crazy.
Another thing that makes no sense.
That.
It does.
It looks just like that.
When have they ever, in the history of elections, stopped counting votes at some point in the night on election night?
It's a kind of gentler deal. We want everybody to be able to rest.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I don't believe it. I believe that, and I'm not saying that a good leftist like Peter McNally would even have anything to do in that. But look, folks, Hunter Biden, the drug trade, the things that were going on through Ukraine, Joe Biden, indisputable evidence of his quid pro quo. If you don't fire that guy, Jack, I'm wheels up in 6 hours with my $1 billion. You don't believe me? Call him. Call Barack.
Well, son of a bitch.
It is undeniable, irrefutable evidence. If you think that guy, what the Democrats have is resolve. They believe that winning this election at any cost is what's most important for the country. Don't think for a minute that a guy that will strong arm Ukraine wouldn't allow people to shuffle in a few ballots on his behalf, because at the end of the day, the ends justify the means in their minds.
A guy the Democrats didn't want up through Super Tuesday as their presidential candidate.
Have you heard a word, any word, even in print, from your buddy Sanders? Hey.
No, but he's backing what's his name? One of those Democrat senatorial candidates in Georgia.
Sharpton?
No, down in Georgia. And that's where we've got to focus on right now, because I don't think the fraudulent elections are going to be sorted out prior to the Electoral College.
Right.
And then prior to the inauguration. It's going to be a mess 6 months from now when they finally figure out that, oops, yep, it did happen. But they're going to be smug enough to think that, well, we got a sitting president, we can't do anything about it. But
well, listen, okay, now, so I don't know where Steve Kidder's going. Let's just see what he says. Voting irregularities is a misnomer. There are 254 counties in Texas, and each one, due to our decentralized electoral process, does voting slightly different. Multiply that differential by 50 plus the District of Columbia. If the Trump campaign had won at least one lawsuit, I'd say where there's smoke, there's fire. But he keeps getting poured out. See, that's incorrect. Even his own judicial appointees. Let's concentrate on Georgia in the midterms and pick up some seats in the House in 22. Where I disagree is, and I heard the president say it himself the other day, he said, people keep asking why we keep filing lawsuits that we keep getting poured out of. He goes, those are not my lawsuits. He goes, those are people, individuals, caring, patriotic Americans who saw irregularities at their poll places and went and filed a lawsuit on behalf of the voters in their district. And yes, some of them are ill-prepared, hastily done, and they've been getting thrown out. But he goes, those are not the ones that Sidney Powell and Rudy Giuliani are working on, nor do these people present the evidence that Trump says he has. So I agree with Steve that anything can happen. It makes me wonder if at the federal level, we may need to have a more centralized, standardized voting process. Why have electronic voting with a Q-tip in Victoria and you're punching computer cards in Port Lavaca? I mean, one, by definition, has to be more accurate than the other. So let's figure out how to do it. And the easiest way to do it, folks, is with a centralized polling place.
With voter ID,
you walk
that can be verified.
Yeah. I mean, people get all bent out of shape because you have to show an ID to vote. You got to show an ID for everything in this country. Why does it offend people so much to go,
Nobody has a problem showing ID to prove that you can buy a lottery ticket.
Right. Or to buy alcohol, or to renew your driver's or to renew your car license. But if you have to show it to vote, oh, you're infringing on my rights as an American. Well, then how do I know you're an American? Oh, Brad Miner here. This is important for the county. He says, changing topic for 2 seconds. Burn ban has been lifted. So today is a decent day. Even though we are, Matt O'Shea says 10 inches behind on our rain.
We had 3.6 out of the 2.4, so it's soggy. Jennifer Castle says you can't cheat. Dems know that, so push the agenda. I've always believed if you're in such denial, you're hiding something, and that's the. And then just,
you know why? Because we've hidden stuff.
Well, maybe.
I mean, if you've been around the block once or twice, you're like, come on, man, you want me to believe that?
Deny.
Right. You deny everything. Admit nothing, deny everything. Sure.
And that's what's happening here. I mean, the media is not, I mean, when is the media ignored? Sworn affidavits from people saying this is what happened to me.
Doesn't drive the narrative.
No, but it does when it does. But they use those same pieces of evidence in a story that pushes their narrative. But because these ones are going against what they've been pushing for, mail-in ballots, mail-in voting is safe. There's no fraud in mail-in voting.
Yeah.
And then yesterday,
Oh,
caught a little bit of the former, I don't know, is a Homeland Security, cyber security guy that Trump fired after he said that there was no fraud in the election. Then yesterday, he kind of got discredited a little bit in Arizona. I can't remember his name.
Jeffrey Epstein?
No, not him. Crick, or I can't remember his name, but it was
Crikeys.
maybe. But
Oh,
kind of got a little discredited there yesterday. But
all right,
you got all these pockets of smoke. There's got to be some fire somewhere.
Let me tell you my secret. I don't give this to just everybody.
Jeff Fonseca says, "Sweetie's got a couch to burn."
Right? What did T-Lat say? She wrote a paragraph right there. That's very rare.
I'm looking up here. Kathleen Leininger says, electronic voting opens the door for fraud and hacking. Need to return to verifiable traceback paper ballots.
What does T-Lat say right there?
If the rolls were turned, it would be a whole different world. It's so bizarre, the different views of what's right and wrong.
Yeah.
Trump was ahead in all these states before they stopped counting, and a huge spike in numbers for Biden.
And you know what? That is true. He was. I mean, that is undeniable. He was the leader in all of those states. Well, they just started in the rural areas, and there was only like so many reporting. So I'm gonna give you a little inside skinny on something T-Lat turned me on to. Yesterday we went to Uncle Mud's barbecue for lunch. Walked in, got a 3-meat plate. We got double brisket and sausage. Each of us got a little thing of sauce. We had double green beans for the veggie.
Yeah.
And I had, of course, a side of
pea salad.
Yes. Then they give you the pickles, the onions, the jalapenos. Had 2 big old glasses of tea, and she and I were out of there for under $20. And I'm telling you, I didn't eat dinner. We ate all we wanted to eat. They gave you the extra plate. They gave her a fork. I just ate with my hands and like a dog.
All the brisket was gone in 2 seconds.
Phenomenal. No, I let her pick first. I let her get what she wants. And it was
There's nothing left here but fat and gristle.
That's right. That's what she says about me. Yeah. She's like, all the tears, fat and gristle.
That's what I was saying.
And I married him. Uncle Mud's Barbecue, folks. Get by there today. They're open about 11. Get in there. You can eat inside. And that's a little known deal right now. Like when we were in there was only one other table had anybody at it. You feel very, what do you want to call it? COVID safe. It's very, very, you're socially distanced.
Yeah. There's no issues at any of them.
No.
Any of our favorite haunts.
Reach out to the Great Barn. Got a party, quinceañera. We're going to have a party. Ash, I can't tell you about it. I want to.
Great Barn's going to do some stuff.
But I can't.
You'll be surprised.
The Great Barn. It's going to be fantastic. Reach out to Cheryl, 920-6803. She can help you. If you're going to have a sales meeting, kick off the new year, try to get your people motivated, give Cheryl a budget and your vision, and then get out of the way.
Yeah.
You go focus on your content for your meeting. Cheryl will have your people fired up to go to work for you right after the new year. Reach out to Wind Services. Carl and his crew will come out and show you how to save money.
Lots of tax rebates available for businesses now who want to go
solar panels. Yes, if you've got a building and you own it, you're going to be there more than 3 years. He says, I'm telling you, cash flows. Get the free power after that for years and years. The technology.
I'll be spinning backwards.
Right. The technology keeps getting better. Well, nowadays, you can store it on a battery backup. And when you leave at night, all your lights and stuff run off your battery backup. Doesn't cost anything. Nope. Reach out to USA Concrete Coatings. And Ash points this out. I went yesterday. When we're done with the program, go to USA Concrete Coatings on Facebook and just see the before and afters. And these are not professional photographs. It's just the guy that did it goes, they take some pictures. There's cracks in the sidewalk. It's not level. You come back, there's no cracks in the sidewalk, and there's a beautiful finish on it, and it looks fantastic.
And it's level.
And it's level. USA Concrete Coatings, 578 HOME, HOME. And then our friends at Budget Blinds encourage you to, nothing is, you can always paint a room, but if you're going to paint, get rid of those raggedy old curtains that you got in there.
Or even the old blinds you bought at, Walmart.
A box store.
Yeah.
Let these folks come in. They'll measure them. They're guaranteed to fit.
They'll install them. So you don't, that's the one thing you go you buy them online somewhere, then you've got to be the one to install them. And if you don't install them right, and if they're a little bit off, they don't look good, then you got to look at that. Budget blinds will come in and do the whole thing. They've got 40% off select blinds right now. I mean, you can't beat it. It's going to be a great way to freshen up the inside of the house for the holidays.
And it's something you'll instantly enjoy. It instantly updates and raises the value of your property, and immediately your whole family benefits from it. I love getting up in the morning, go over and just kind of raise up those plantation blinds that I've got. These are plantation shutters, they call them. Awesome. Budget Blinds has them, and you need them. Give them a call.
Chris Conrad, checking out early. What's up?
T-Lad sent me a note and referred to one of our listeners as a quack. What did she say?
She said she wished she could have tasted the food yesterday. All she could taste was the pickles.
Yeah, and then
at first I thought, when I didn't scroll down, it said, I wish I could have tasted it. I just assumed you'd eaten it all before she could get her fork in there.
No, you think she'd let me do that? You know her. She did have yesterday a lot of the stores are going to this new, Buc-ee's has them, and so does the Texan, and so do the Cimarron stores. If you walk in, they've got the blue containers. They've got sweet tea, unsweet tea. They have like a mango sweet. She likes that. And yesterday, apparently, if something has a citrus base or a tomato base, she can taste it, which is acidic. She can taste it. So,
see, that's weird. I can't taste any of that. I can pick up if something's salty, and I can pick up if something's bitter, but I can't taste the flavor of it. But I can smell vinegar. That's it.
There you go.
Weird. Coffee's like drinking hot water. It's disappointing.
Now's a great time to break yourself of any of your bad habits. Like if you drink too much coffee, just put water in there. Of course, then do you need the caffeine?
No, I don't. Because here's the thing. I could drink this and go to sleep tonight. Like I could drink this at 8 o'clock tonight and be asleep by 8:30. Caffeine doesn't affect me that way.
Tune in tomorrow as Ash and I talk about bunions and other things that affect our colon.
Jeff Fonseca says he's going to peel the foil off his windows and give Budget Blinds a call.
You should.
They appreciate it.
Fonzie/Elvis. When I was in college, I had a condo once that had, I mean, it was just my room, honestly, was like 8 by 10. And I had a king size water bed in there, and there was a window about 18 inches wide, about 3 feet tall. And it was wall to wall bed. And I put aluminum foil over that, turned that temperature on that water bed up to about 85 in the winter. And then when I closed the door, I put a towel across the wall. It was so dark in there, the walls were wet. I loved it. And I appreciate you not saying anything stupid right now. Jeremy Pinu checks in and says something about due to old age.
Yeah, that's the only reason I can taste vinegar.
Right.
I'm guessing. No, you know what, Christina? Can't taste whiskey. I tried that on the weekend. Now might be the time.
Did you try several different types?
I tried a couple. It might be the time to purge the liquor cabinet of all the stuff I don't like instead of just dumping it down the drain, down the gullet, see what happens.
The other day, Donnie was going to make me she wanted to make me a toddy, a hot toddy. And, I went along with it reluctantly.
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
She had a cube of ice, but she put in like a little Gentleman Jack and some honey and then some lemon juice. And really all I got was like a big shot of lemon juice. Yeah, because it was cold. The honey went to the bottom and crystallized. It was 80 proof lemon juice. What is the
I can't taste anything hot, spicy, but if it's too spicy, the sweat will still start. I mean, that still happens.
So the chemical reaction is
the capsaicin's still there, just no taste of anything.
They talk about, what is that green bottle? Is it Buchanan's? And I told Dawn, she goes, I'm going to make it out of this. It says whiskey. I think it's more like a scotch.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
But anyway. She said she thought about eating seafood since she can't smell or taste.
Now's the time.
But Donnie's problem with seafood has always been the texture. So
that's the one thing with foods right now is the textures are more prominent than they had been.
Right.
Because I have no taste or smell.
Right.
It could be worse, I guess.
It's 8 o'clock. I've got a couple stops to make. I will be at the AT&T store later. Go by and see Ash. Make a donation literally, folks. I joke about this a lot. I love to have fun with Ash, but I'm going to tell you something. Your hometown college athletic program is 100% funded by you. They ain't getting money from the mothership. They ain't getting money from the state. If you have an athletic program, it's because people like you take the time to support UHV athletics. And I'll tell you something, I hold him accountable. He's standing right here. He's going to tell you this is the truth. His student athletes are good citizens. They have a structured program by which they give back to the community. It's not haphazard. COVID or not, these kids are giving back their time. They tutor people. They work with young children.
Academically, they achieve greater success at a rate that surpasses the average student body at UHV.
What's the cumulative GPA of Jaguar Athletics?
I'll know in a couple of weeks when the semester's over.
There you go. But it is above the general population of the university. And I'll tell you that, and I'm knock on wood, we're dealing with 18 to 22-year-old kids.
We had, I think, 38 students on the deans and presidents list last year out of 140 student athletes. That percentage is about twice what the average student body is achieving those same recognitions with their GPAs. So,
and this is not a program that you stand around and say, well, they can't win a game, but they are pretty good students. No, they're very, very competitive. They go to the playoffs in almost every sport. They are very, very competitive and good citizens. I encourage you.
The last full season we had was 2019 soccer season. Our men's team was conference champs, went undefeated in the regular season and the conference tournament. So.
No doubt. But I'll tell you, if you go by and give $100 to Jaguar Athletics, $100 goes to Jaguar Athletics.
Well, and it's Giving Tuesday. KMH Wealth Management is matching dollars up to a certain amount again this year. They pledged that support. We really thank Lane and Phyllis Keller for that. Great supporters of UHV. And I'll let the cat out of the bag. Formosa is giving $2,500 on Giving Tuesday to UHV Athletics Tour. This is our team campaign, so really appreciate Jack Lou and the gang at Formosa. So come on out, see me today at Crossroads Bank. I'll be there this afternoon from 2:30 on, and I just hope you support UHV Athletics. We really need the support because COVID is causing some problems. We've got, we're going to have to do some things a little differently. We've got to make more preparations for COVID. Travel arrangements are going to be different, busing, hotels. So it's going to be a little bit, the budgets are going to be a little tight this year if we do. So we really appreciate the support. Our student athletes really appreciate the support because that's where it all goes to. It doesn't come to me. It doesn't come to anybody else. It goes to supporting the day-to-day of our student athletes.
Absolutely. Thanks for tuning in. Remember, here at Wade and Carter, air travel provided by American Airlines and hotels at the Ritz-Carlton. Thank you for everything you do for us, and we will talk to you mañana.
KHMC
Hola, Ralph.
assumes no
How are you, sir?
responsibility for its content, and the Wade and Carter Show bears all responsibilities for their opinions and guests on their show.
It's a stored almost full. Where's the brother man? You can't get him to come to work?
So we figured out the problem, Ralph.
It's our
iPad. We used the backup iPad today, and everything was working. So I got to turn this off.
We're trying to blame you.